Joe Calzaghe, boxing's Prince of Wales.
The 12th defence of a reign that has lasted now for over 5 years.
He's glamorous, glitzy, and ever the showman.
I punch like a cruiserweight, but I got the speed of a flyweight. And I got a head like this.
The Newcastle fans are really taken to Calzaghe because he is a good long-running world champion.
He lives in luxury, but his skills were honed in a rundown shack.
Joe Calzaghe!
He's been trained from the beginning by Father Enzo, a maverick character who bust his way over from Sardinia, where the rest of the Calzaghe clan still live.
Giuseppe Calzaghe sono io.
Calzaghe nails him this time with a big straight left hand, and Pablo collapses.
Beautiful wife Mandy's always at ringside. She's his guiding light.
Oh, that's a huge shot again with the left hand. Pablo now knows the reality of fixing at this level.
He's a committed supporter of children's charities and simply adores his own 3 boys.
Down he goes again under the latest barrow, and the fight is stopped without a count, all over in round 2.
Joe Calzaghe's unbeaten in 35 fights. He's long been regarded as the world's finest super middleweight, and that means the world to him.
When I fight, I really like to please everybody. You know, I'm very proud. You know, very proud fighter, proud man. So I always want to do well. I always want to win and win in style.
In the early 90s, Britain dominated the world super middleweight scene. There was a fascinating power struggle between very different fighters with unique personalities. There was the flash, ferocious Nigel Benn. His arch enemy, the eccentric entertainer, Chris Eubank. The nice guy, people's champion Michael Watson. And the rugged Celtic warrior, Steve Collins.
During that era, it was great to be in the mix and have so many great fighters in the mix with us, that we could have these big fights, which were major events.
We've smelt each other's souls in that ring. We've lived the life of gladiators.
You had Michael, who was like Steve Davis of boxing, a gentleman. You had me and Eubank, who was like Jimmy White and Alex Higgins.
Great era. Great, fantastic era.
It was a feel-good time for British boxing. We were thoroughly entertained as they tackled each other for ring supremacy and celebrity status. There was nowhere to hide. In these intense battles, they fought their hearts out and together found fame and fortune. Meanwhile, a young Welsh fighter was making his debut on the big stage, and Joe Calzaghe already had his eyes on the 4 super middleweight stars.
In Britain, they were massive names. Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank fighting each other. It was fantastic. The ears on the back of my neck, I used to stand on there and just watch it on TV, thinking one day that's going to be me walking in with that crowd and that, the buzz and the adrenaline. It's going to be amazing.
Slowly they began to fall by the wayside. Watson in tragic circumstances. A brain hemorrhage almost ended his life, yet incredibly he won his biggest fight. Ben's exciting career eventually petered out.
I've retired now for good.
It's been a terrific career, Nigel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And soon afterwards, Collins bade boxing a tearful farewell. But the biggest character of all was still defiant. The old master ready to tackle the young pretender for the world title. The feeling in the Welsh valleys was that Calzaghe was heir apparent to the super middleweight throne. Yet at 25 and after just 22 wins, would he have enough know-how to deal with those infamous Eubank mind games?
I'm definitely going to be world champion tomorrow inside the distance. Definitely.
Okay, Joe, many thanks. Good luck.
That's for the camera. Is it my turn now? You right?
Gonna get knocked out.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, we'll see what happens. Yeah,
man.
Okay.
To be honest, I was the most nervous I've ever been. Not because I was fighting Chris Eubank, you know. It was because after all these years, it all comes down to this one night. Everything that I've ever dreamed of was on that one night. I'm going to perform in like 36 minutes. So much pressure, you know, you can't explain. It's incredible the amount of pressure that you want something so bad.
This is his 50th professional fight tonight. It's been quite a long-running show this now, and he's only lost twice, and on both occasions to Steve Collins, who showed the rest of the world the way to beat him. Will Calzaghe take note? Calzaghe, hot prospect, unbeaten in 22, 21 knockouts, but is he ready for somebody with a lot of guile and experience and a fantastic chin like Chris Eubank? Joe's been talking pretty big these last few months. Now he has to prove it. Young Welshman from Newbridge in South Wales, Joe Calzaghe. Big support for Calzaghe. A lot of flags with the Welsh dragon on. Bids to become only the 8th world champion from Wales.
All the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight.
Fight number 50 for Chris Eubank. But is this a comeback born of desperation for money and a craving for limelight? Or has Eubank rediscovered a genuine desire to restate his credentials? And what about Calzaghe? Untried. And let's go with the left hand straight away. Eubank may... I didn't know whether he might just try to catch Calzaghe cold.
Well, Calzaghe is a very fast start at 10 first round.
Oh, and a left hand puts Eubank on the floor for only the 5th time in his career. What a start by Calzaghe. He means business, all right. Remember, Eubank has never been stopped, but Calzaghe is working him over in this first round. Eubank is in some trouble here. He may need all his resilience and solid chin to get through this. And Calzaghe is setting a pace that Eubank does not like. And these punches, head and body, are thudding home.
Well, a terrific start from Joe Calzaghe, letting every punch in the boot go.
So really exciting stuff from Calzaghe. Who said that he might suffer stage fright? Forget that. Again, a big left from Calzaghe, forcing Eubank back. He needs that solid chin in here. Eubank down in the opening seconds for only the 5th time in his life. Oh, left hand again, big shot, Calzaghe. Eubank took it well, left himself a bit open though.
Well, it's hotting up the action in centre ring.
And Calzaghe is the one who, for my money, is getting the better of it. He's the one who's forcing Eubank backwards. There is a real intensity and desire about Calzaghe here. Can he sustain it? He may have to go the full 12-round route against this fellow. Back came Eubank with a very good countering right and a right uppercut. Now it's a trade-off. Eubank fought his way off those ropes well. He is dangerous with his back to the ropes like that.
Yes, he is, but Calzaghe's setting such a terrific pace, and he caught Eubank several times.
Oh, big left and a right. And Eubank, how did he stay up from those? 2-punch combination. Eubank was staggered, but he seems to have this capacity for his head to clear almost instantly.
He looks a little bit hurt, Eubank. The legs are just starting to betray him, looking a little heavy.
Oh, Well, I think he hoodwinked Calzaghe, then he looked up to the ring lights, then hit him with a right uppercut. Calzaghe takes that too.
What a fight this is turning out to be.
Superb, isn't it?
The youth against the experience.
These two are providing us with a thriller. Oh, straight left hand. Terrific shot from Calzaghe, and again, Eubank absorbed it. These are good body shots by Eubank, who wants to go to war again. But Calzaghe will not be dominated.
Good fast combination from Calzaghe with Eubank's back on the ropes, just to tell him he's the boss, or at least he's trying to be the boss.
It's a thrilling fight. Another right hand. I think that one stunned Eubank momentarily. Right hand from Calzaghe was an eye catcher. Clubbing Eubank around. 10th round. Calzaghe with a left hand counter. Eubank touched down with his gloves. That has to be a knockdown. He's saying I slipped. I don't think so. It was a left hand. He's not hurt by it, but technically his gloves touched the canvas, and that has to go down as a knockdown. Calzaghe, for the most part, has been boss, and Eubank now surely needs a knockout. Last round.
And you can guarantee he knows that, and you can guarantee he's gonna go for it.
But Calzaghe has answered the questions here, all of them in the affirmative. Calzaghe just stung by one right hand. You felt there right towards the end. Holds on. There's the final bell. They embrace at the bell. The fusion of spirits. Calzaghe is lifted aloft. I think we all know which way the judges will see that. Joe Calzaghe has surely become a world champion.
For the winner, who is now WBO Super Middleweight Champion of the World, Joe Calzaghe.
What a moment for Joe Calzaghe. A moment he will never, ever forget as long as he lives. Joe Calzaghe, world champion. How does that sound?
Sounds brilliant, you know, all the hard work I've done. I just thank God. Obviously I thank my dad, I thank my wife. I thank all the fans who come to support me tonight.
Now we know why Steve Collins don't want to box him, huh? Good fighter. He's done good.
When you have a great fight against somebody, and you both given your best, and you both know that you fought the best you could fight on that night, you're going to get them respect. I never expected to knock him down like so soon. It's just the first meaningful punch I threw was a left hook, and it caught him flush on the chin. But he got up and smiled and gave me the toughest fight of my life. So,
what did the words "and the new" mean?
Yeah, it's amazing. My dreams, it come true. You know, it's amazing. No matter what I did from that day on, nobody could take that away from me. You know, I've accomplished what I dreamed of as an 8-year-old.
The beautiful Italian island of Sardinia. Tranquil, sleepy, and endearing. Yet it once harboured a sinister underworld of bandits with mafia links. Family values underpin this tight-knit community. Honour and loyalty come first. The Calzaghes have been here for as long as anyone can recall, and there are many members of the household, all under the Don Vito Corleone of the family.
Giuseppe Calzaghe sono io.
And their origins are shrouded in mystery.
Mensch Calzaghe, it's a name which it's not, it's only us. The Calzaghe only exists within ourselves. I don't know where it comes from. I haven't, you know, when indulgence you find out the history of it, but it's a name, a unique name.
Here in Sardinia, Joe's father Enzo was born Pietro Vicenti, As a child, he boarded a ship bound for the United Kingdom and spent years voyaging back and forth. He started out as a travelling musician, and together with brother Ucho, backed Bucks Fizz, Adam and the Ants, and Paul Young. Music was his first passion. But another love had blossomed when he met a Cardiff girl, Jacqueline, in 1970.
He asked me for a date, and he met me after work, and it went on from there. I fell in love with him straight away.
They married and continued to wander even after Joe was born on March the 23rd, 1972 in Hammersmith. They finally settled in South Wales, but the Calzaghes have never forgotten their roots. Enzo, Joe, and Joe's eldest son, Cole, went to visit the family, and I tagged along too.
It's a beautiful place, as you can see. It's fantastic food, the weather's great, food's great, and the people are very, very nice.
We headed to their hometown of Sassari. Joe couldn't wait to see grandfather Giuseppe and presented him with his world title belt. The head of the Calzaghe clan showed Joe all the headlines he makes in Sardinia.
Campione, lo vedi, Joseph, cosa? È arrivato di ciao, è mito il campione, tutti a Sassari.
So he's fantastic. I mean, he's absolutely proud as a champ. Because, I mean, wherever he goes, they will say to him, how's your grandson? How's your grandson?
Come and see him, you know, you can see he's showing here for me. Yeah, but it's always been more fun.
That's right.
Yeah, I love coming over, you know, so it's great.
It was typical Italian hospitality. Joe's granddad was a top chef and made some really unforgettable pasta. Plenty of laughs on the beach and all types of games. Even at the police headquarters, their chief's a family friend. We went to the island's only boxing club. Cole couldn't wait to show off on the bag. Fast hands run in the family.
How do you like it over here, Cole?
That's right. Beautiful weather as well, you know, beautiful women as well.
And the traditional fresh food just kept coming and coming.
The way you eat and drink out here, a couple of days is plenty. You stay for 2 weeks, I'll be fighting Tyson next time. I think I'll be in heavyweight.
Joe loves his Sardinian recipes, which he enjoys back home in Wales.
Ciao, come stai? Your favorite marinara.
And there's that other Italian obsession.
I've always been an Italian football supporter. Always support Italian football because it's not Wales, because they never achieve anything. So in the World Cups when I was a kid and that, I've always I can even remember back in 1982. I was only 10 years old and I still remember Paolo Rossi scoring that trick against Brazil.
One former World Cup star's even a personal friend. The Calzaghes have known Gianfranco Zola for years.
Gianfranco Zola. Yeah, he's played for Mario's team, and these are all trophies which he won.
I think he's doing very, very well. It's a good boxer, very technical boxer, and he's from Sardinia. That makes a big difference.
And Joe could have followed his heroes into the game. Good with his feet, but just brilliant with his fists from a very young age.
7, 8 years old, my dad taught me the basics. He bought me a speedball for Christmas when I was little stand-on punch balls, and he's seen a bit of talent.
There was definitely something magical about it. It's something, you know, unique.
At 10, he hit the Welsh junior scene, but it wasn't quite the dream start.
I lost my first fight, yeah. I always remember to a boy called Chris Starks from Newport. I always remember I was to give him the decision on majority.
Did you know what you were doing then at 10?
Yeah, what happened is his father was the referee. He went the referee, and I thought I got robbed there. I was there crying in the ring. I knew from an early age I didn't like to lose, so I lost my first fight. I beat the guy 5 times afterwards, so.
Joe hasn't lost for 13 years, a run stretching back to those amateur days when his speed, technique and power began piling up the honours.
first person post-war to win 3 consecutive ABAs at 3 different weights, welterweight, light middleweight and middleweight. I stopped Dean Francis, you know, former British European champion, you know, great fighter, excellent fighter. I beat Glenn Catley, stopped Glenn Catley, former world champion, and Jason Matthews stopped him in 1 round, who was a former WBO middleweight champion. The only thing that's missing is me going to the Olympic Games. And that's a separate story again, where I got robbed of the opportunity to go into the Olympics.
Robin Reid went to Barcelona and won bronze, while Joe turned professional. But a lack of television exposure meant he was virtually unknown until he fought for the British title in his 14th fight in October 1995. Calzaghe came of age that night as he totally outclassed Stephen Wilson, stopping him in 8 rounds.
What did winning the British title mean?
Honestly, it meant a lot, but to me that was just a stepping stone. My dream was always to be a world champion. So, like I said, I would never been happy or felt that I fulfilled my potential unless I did win a world title.
Then came his first acid test against fellow unbeaten prospect Mark Delaney. Calzaghe was ruthless, flooring him 4 times in 5 rounds. But the big break only came after he left Mickey Duff and signed for Frank Warren.
I'm going to build him into a big name, a big international name in boxing. All he's got to do is show up on the night and do the business.
I was, you know, thrilled because I really do think he's one of the best fighters to come out of Britain. He's a tremendous fighter, great chin, can punch, great hand speed, big heart.
The new partnership went from strength to strength as Calzaghe notched up eye-catching knockout wins and quickly became the most feared super middleweight in the world. Incredibly, all that destructive power comes from here, Newbridge, South Wales, and a run-down tin hut perched on an old coal mine. This is where Joe learned his trade.
How did you survive in that shack for so long?
That shack, you know, got me where I am today. See my gym, come and see where I train. Go and see how Naz trained and where he trained. I don't live in that world with a high life and all this 5-star presidential suites. You know, that's when champions and great fighters get beat.
He was driven to his physical limits by Father Enzo under a Spartan regime in their battle camp where Joe spent 22 years of his life. Yet last September the council finally deemed the shack unsafe and the Calzaghes were full of emotion as they helped with the demolition.
90 years of history, it's all gone, and of course it's a sad day because a lot of memories there to the end.
Everything I've achieved is in the humble gym, you know, and it's been taken down in a matter of minutes.
The old place lies in ruins, but their new gym's just a mile away and it's business as usual. With professional equipment and a proper ring to use for the first time, Joe's in better condition than ever. But his fitness is still based on grueling runs in the valleys.
All weekends I probably do sprint work, builds, for short bursts. Different levels of stamina, isn't it? It's a steady and burst with my style.
You got all the hills here as well. This pace is getting me. That's it, off you go. I've had it.
Joe Calzaghe is a consummate professional, but one man really got under his skin. Robin Reid had not only taken Joe's Olympic place, but he'd been first to win a world title. After a war of words,
she's just jealous, I'm better looking than you as well.
Oh, I'm better looking than you, behave yourself.
Their simmering feuds soon reached boiling point and had to be settled in the Newcastle Arena in February 1999.
Calzaghe's third defence, 25-0. Reid only 1 defeat in 28 contests so far.
Have a good one.
Calzaghe taking the fight too. We're looking for openings there. Reid forced to cover up.
Reid gets in a punch and Calzaghe flashes a smile, and Calzaghe's growing in confidence.
Calzaghe's boxing good at long range, the jab and the straight left working well.
Calzaghe's speed, Reed looking a little bemused by it at the moment.
Calzaghe just pouring out that southpaw jab, but then he comes back with quick punches.
Reed's trying to walk through these shots to land his own, but got picked off by a dazzling combination from Calzaghe. He really has got fast, blurring hand speed at times, Calzaghe. I think Reed will feel that he needs to do this emphatically if he's going to get the nod as Calzaghe starts to open up again. Reed's having none of that. Back he comes. Suddenly it hots up again in the 8th. What a shot from Reed, but back comes Calzaghe with a left hand. Great right from the challenger, Robin Reed again. Both of them refusing to be dominated. Almost matching each other punch for punch. Oh, big right cross from Reed. How did Calzaghe take that? No effect. Reed feigns injury as Calzaghe launches again at him. This is a sum round, this 11th. They're at it again, even in the closing seconds. There's the foul to end it. It ends with them in a furious exchange, and Roy Francis says, well done the pair of you, I think. What a great fight, he says.
The winner and still super middleweight champion of the world, Calzaghe.
Very confident going into the fight, maybe overconfident. And you know, give him credit, he fought the right fight. He fought the right fight, but as far as I'm concerned, lucky, I won the fight.
Calzaghe was on top of the world, the best super middleweight and the best looking, so the girls say. But despite a queue of female admirers, Joe's driving force is stunning wife Mandy. And no wonder, surely they're British boxing's golden couple. But if he enjoys the glamour of being a champion, Joe's really just a hometown boy. He was brought up in the village of Pentwyn Mar by Newbridge, a South Wales coal mining town full of echoes from the past. He lived here with his parents, and school was just a walk down the hill, where his first teacher recalls Joe with much fondness.
I do remember that he always preferred to be doing playing activities rather than sitting down at a table with a paper and pencil.
The gym's always been a short run away, and when he finally left home, he only moved across the valley. In Newbridge, he can be himself, mixing with everyone. Even the town's cobbler doubles up as the ticket seller.
He's a lovely boy. He'll say, Phil, do you want a cup of tea? Go and get the teas in. He's one of the boys.
And everyone here's firmly behind him.
He's very, very approachable, I find, and speaks to everyone. Really, really down-to-earth, nice person. Hasn't changed that at all. Not at all.
A lot of us know him from years ago. He's just a local lad, like, around the town, really.
And everyone proud of him?
Very proud, yeah.
I love him as a boxer, and he's fun. He's great, fantastic. Oh, he's just the best. He beat anyone. Woo, Joe!
With friends like this, it's understandable that he's never given a moment's thought to leaving. Home is definitely where the heart is. Frank Warren once tried to make him train nearer London, but that's not Joe's scene.
He's decided he wants to train in Wales. He's decided he's taking this whole thing into his hands now, and he's staying down in Wales, and that's what they're doing. That's his call.
I'm happy, you know, training at home. I feel more comfortable. I do exactly what I do. I don't skip, you know, if I cut corners, fair enough, maybe I'd have to go to camp, but I don't. I've got everything I need here. Got the mountains, the hills, you know, fantastic, you know, to run. I'm not far from the gym. You know, if I need sparring, I just bring them down. So everything's here.
5 years on, Warren realises his fighter is just happy as he is.
If we could have in the early days got Joe out of Wales, got you know, to all the premiers and you know got his face in you know in all the tabloids and so on, he would be a huge star. But that's not Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe isn't that type of person. It's a homeboy.
But Joe's offbeat preparation has sometimes been blamed for his career-threatening injuries. He's always suffered hand trouble, which has gradually worsened over the years, and shoulder and elbow problems have been so severe that there was a time when Calzaghe almost walked away.
I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I wasn't enjoying boxing anymore. I was doing it only for the money. That's the only reason. If I was, at that point in my career, if I was a multi-millionaire and I earned the money before that, I would have retired.
Injuries or not, he still saw off Rick Thornberry and David Starry on a big Tyson showcase. But in August 2000, he took the major risk of fighting the much-fancied American Omar Sheikha. There was severe pressure on Joe Calzaghe.
Omar Sheikha was just a really big-headed, big-mouth, arrogant so-and-so, do you know what I mean? He's going to knock me out, he's going to do this and that. He's so such an arrogant, horrible person. And when he came over, I really wanted to knock him out. I was going, please, Joe, come on, just put one performance in, man. Do you know what I mean? Don't make sure you perform well against this guy.
Vital night in the career of Joe Calzaghe, arguably the most naturally gifted boxer to hail from these shores. Three-time ABA champion at different weights, hasn't lost any fight since he was a junior, 28 unbeaten professional triumphs, and now the 6th defence of his WBO crown. Ranked number 1 in the world super middleweights, but enduring 24 months of agony. Lackluster displays, broken promises, hand and elbow problems, excuses and depression. Calzaghe now needs to make a statement. Intriguing, compelling and exciting battle predicted here.
Well, we all want to see a devastating victory for Joe Calzaghe, but we're not in too much of a hurry. We want him to take his time, don't do anything silly, don't play to the crowd. We want to see the knockout, but we want to see a good performance first and nothing silly. Make good use of the southpaw jab, confuse this guy for a couple of rounds.
Sheikha trying to get in close with the right hand. Good left, straight jab from Calzaghe. Sheikha showed a good chin up to now, but Calzaghe may have that extra power. Sheikha's had an air of confidence about him all week, and he seems to me a little phased already in there. He's tried to come back with rights of his own, but Calzaghe has the more impressive shots, the accurate work. Never been stopped, Sheikha, but will he just be worn down by the continual persistence of Calzaghe? His very fast hands. Natural strength. Sheikha just taking a deep breath there, feeling the weight of some of these shots. Calzaghe's speed, when he has the room, is devastating.
Just think he's naturally stronger than Sheikha. Certainly has a better chin.
A little bit of red just around the left eye of Omar Sheikha. He just looks a bit puffy and confused with the style. Enzo Calzaghe, Joe's father, and Ernie Fossey in the corner saying, use the uppercut.
He's been working well up close with the left hand. He's kind of holding with the right, maybe slightly fouling, but it's working well for him. His left hand up close is working exceptionally well. There it goes again.
And Sheikha starting to look a little bit unsteady on his legs. Trying to pin Calzaghe in the corner, but Calzaghe wobbles him with the left hand. Sheikha comes back. Tremendous action here at Wembley. His face is becoming a bloody mess as Calzaghe rakes out those fast right jabs and following left hands. Well, we wanted a good display from Joe Calzaghe, and this is what it is. Credit where credit's due, and what a brawl in the thing. Both going for it, tremendous spirit from Sheikha, but a left wobbles in, and I think the referee's going to see 2 more of this. Calzaghe really going for broke. And it's been stopped, it's over. What a win for Joe Calzaghe, a brilliant performance.
Well, for Joe's own peace of mind, he needed a performance like that, and we started to wonder, did he have that kind of performance in him to come out? Well, he proved that tonight. The quality punches at this stage in the fight were coming from Calzaghe, the solid shots, the properly delivered punches. Shika Banau was swinging wildly, lost his composure, really lost all method in what he was doing. He was just being picked apart at the end up. The referee picked the perfect time just to call off. He was being picked apart. Okay, maybe he could have seen the round out, but look at the state of his face. He had given everything he had.
Look at that expression. Down on his knees. Father trainer Enzo been with him from the beginning. Now he's up on Enzo's shoulders, playing to the crowd. Well, no sign of injuries. Punch, perfect.
Except for winning the world title, that's the most pleased I've ever been, because it was like, yes, I'm back. That's why I felt like a statement. You could see everybody else like, yeah, finally, you know, everybody in the press, Joe Calzaghe, he's coming back. That's what we want to see. That's what we knew we could do.
What is he doing here? Oh dear! Darky Smith, the trainer and father, has come into the ring and started manhandling the referee.
Remember the astonishing scenes last year when Stephen Smith was disqualified against Ricky Hatton after his father saw red? Well, in boxing, father and son partnerships have been turbulent. It can work. Scott and Peter Harrison proved themselves a major British team in 2002. But in America, it's led to trouble. Floyd Mayweather, a two-time world champion, and his father, Floyd Sr., parted angrily.
How close are you now with Floyd?
I don't deal with my son.
And was the great Shane Mosley's Achilles heel his corner relationship with Dad Jack? No father-son double act has been more successful than the Calzaghes. From humble beginnings, Enzo and Joe have scaled the heights and have grown up in boxing together. They've spent years and years learning about each other as father and son and as trainer and fighter.
He's always been there, you know, from day one. So, you know, outside the gym, he's my dad. But, you know, in the gym and in the corner, he's my trainer. So there's a difference there. You have to know the difference, otherwise you have problems in that sort of relationship where you have a father as a trainer.
Enzo's a caring father, but a demanding taskmaster. Yet he never worries about their relationship.
He puts you at ease. You know, I could be more nervous the other guys than with Joe. Joe, you know, I know for a fact when he performs the way he can perform, you know, I haven't got to worry.
But Joe's never been in trouble. What if he does get in trouble? Will the father come out of you like Darky Smith? It came out of him?
Impossible, impossible. I don't believe Joe will ever get into trouble.
How ironic that Len and Richie Woodall, another father and son team, were awaiting the Calzaghes at the end of 2000. And Richie's pedigree was every bit as impressive as Joe's. He'd been an Olympic medalist and a world champion. They were close friends, but fierce competitors.
Now, when I say break, stand back's exactly what I mean. You got it? Right, shake hands. Have a good one.
These two very good friends. Oh, right hand, and that's hurt Woodall. There's the power of Calzaghe. He's having to cover up. He's definitely hurt. Good body shot from Woodall, and again. And a big right hand. These are good shots. Len Woodall, Richie's dad. No nonsense character, just like his son. Great guy.
Yes, both fathers in the corner. Oh, nice guys.
Trying to meet fire with fire. Woodall. But again, Calzaghe appears to get the better of the exchange.
Yes, Calzaghe's fast hands. Woodall find it difficult to defend against those combinations. Nice solid straight left hand from Calzaghe.
And again, Woodall getting trapped on the ropes. Head and body shots. Good craftsmanship from Calzaghe. Sometimes he does put those combinations together really well. That's really good too. Another straight left. That's class. That's the best of Calzaghe. Oh, and he just knees buckled and Woodall, and he's down. Down he goes right at the end of a round. And he looks hurt and tired. Again, Calzaghe's right now, a bit low. The shot from Calzaghe. Is he looking for the stoppage now? Woodall was lucky that he was on the floor late in the previous round and the bell came at a good time. But Calzaghe now is pouring in the punches and looking for the stoppage. And he's going to stop it. It is over. It has been stopped in the 10th round. Roy Francis steps in with Woodall still on his feet. There were no complaints from Richie Woodall at all, or from his corner. There are mutual hugs. Joe Calzaghe is still the champion.
I caught him a couple of good shots and he started catching me some good shots, so it wasn't long before I started to get the devil back in me a bit to realise, hey, I'm in the fight here. There's no Richie the friend, this is Richie somebody who's trying to rip the title off me.
Joe's a family man, through and through.
The most important things to me are my family. You know, my family around me, my wife, my children, that's all that matters.
We know how much he loves his grandfather and father. He's very close to sisters Sonia and Mel, and to mum Jacqueline.
He's a great son. He looks after me. He looks after his family, his children. He idolises his family.
But she constantly worries about him boxing.
I don't even watch it. I just go to pieces.
Yet Joe's wife Mandy has to be there when he fights.
When you're there actually sat there ringside and you can see him and you can see that he's okay and you can go see him afterwards and make sure he's okay. When I was pregnant with the boys and I didn't go, it was terrible.
The heavyweight fighter is a great woman, and Mandy definitely is that.
I was given a warm welcome into the Calzaghe household.
Hey.
All right, Dan, come in, mate.
Hey there. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. It's lovely, this place.
A typical day starts at 7:30 when Mandy and Joe get their 3 boys, 5-year-old Connor, 8-year-old Joe Jr. and 13-year-old Cole off to school. I was given the guided tour
World Championship belt there.
And discovered the secret behind that hand speed, which he used to hustle me out at pool.
Oh. That's all right, Dan. Cheers, man.
His home's full of gadgets, although he says it feels empty when the kids are at school.
This is Connor's.
Yet that's when he can fit his own work in. After his daily training regime, Joe goes straight home to make the 3 little terrors their tea.
Joseph, the middle one, is just like Joe. He's lovely and all the teachers love him, everybody falls in love with him. Connor, the little one, is he's a handful of the family, and Cole's just turned a teenager, so he's spraying deodorant and nicking gel and looking in the mirror constantly, and he's doing all that, but they are 3 different children.
It's very much a home life for Joe, isn't it? He loves it here, doesn't he?
Yeah, we can't just get rid of him, Adam. Not even when he's training. He likes to be home, but that's what suits him, that's what he likes, that's where he's comfortable.
When he does leave the house, it's often to help other children, and the NSPCC is extremely close to his heart. He donates memorabilia, including his own fight shorts, at gala occasions.
Being world champion, I can help out with various charities, and SPCC, having children myself, is something that I feel strongly about.
He's even sung to help cancer care for children, although the musical member of the family lent a hand. Joe also has his boxing family. Prospects Gavin Rees and Bradley Price have trained with him for years, and both won on a vital night in Cardiff for Joe. In April 2001, Nassim Hamad's fantasy world had come crashing down, and Lennox Lewis was rumbled in an African nightmare. British boxing was on the ropes, so there was huge pressure on Calzaghe to retain his world title against giant German Mario Fight.
6'4", very tall fighter, was 30-0, untested. So I thought this guy was going to be a hard fight, because although he had been tested, they're always well schooled, extremely fit, and mentally very strong. So I thought it was going to be for one hell of a tough night.
He's getting a fantastic reception, isn't he, here?
Yes, I think he'd be very pleased with this. It took a while for Calzaghe to get accepted, but it looks like his own fans are really doing that. He deserves it. He's a terrific fighter.
And if you ask fight people either side of the Atlantic, they'll tell you that this Welshman, who's reigned for 3.5 years, is the best super middleweight in the world. Never mind the versions of the title, this is the acknowledged #1.
Right here is not going to be low. Right here, okay? Touch gloves, good luck to both of you.
Calzaghe, southpaw, you'll notice. Fast hands, plenty of power. And a great chin too. Sometimes open to right hands himself.
Keep him up.
And a left hand looks fine on the floor after only 30 seconds. A big left and fight. Hardly knew what hit him there. Is Calzaghe going to do this in quick time? He might,
Well, he started very sharply indeed. Some excellent left hands going in from Calzaghe.
He's in a completely different league to anything he's encountered before fight. He's not really fought anyone of much note. This is a big leap up, and doesn't he know about it now already? Calzaghe's hand speed and power rocking him with an uppercut. Body punches too.
Well, it's good variety fight, just can't do anything. He's stunned a bit in there.
Tall. Not a lot of movement with his head. Chin in the air a bit. He's pretty durable, we think, he might need to be. It's a terrible start for the German, who's caught again by another left hand, and then a second one. Back! Flat on his back. Is he going to be stopped in one round? Referee Mark Nelson looks at him. Is he going to let him go on? There is not a 3 knockdown rule in place here, but there might not need to be. It's stopped in the very first round. Joe Calzaghe, in sizzling style, retains his WBO Super Middleweight Championship. How impressive was that?
Well, he wanted to make a statement, and didn't he just do it? That was tremendous. Just the first knockdown, big left hand over the top, the upright fight just stood for it and went down heavily.
And that was a heavy shot too that caught him square on, and that, what an absolute peach of a left cross.
Good pressure from Calzaghe, seized the opportunity.
31-0, 8 successful defences, and Joe Calzaghe is king of the super middles.
The relief of actually, catching him early and taking him out was great.
The Welsh fans loved it, didn't they?
They did. They always do. They had great support. So, it's fantastic to get in the fight and win in style.
Come fly with me, let's fly
Air
away.
travel. Joe Calzaghe hates it. But finally, after 4 years on top of the boxing world, he proved he could deal with his fear of flying as he jetted off to Copenhagen to prove to an international audience he's
probably the best boxer in the world.
A high-profile appearance on the Mike Tyson-Brian Nielsen card brought much-needed exposure on US television. His 9th defense was against Will McIntyre, but the brave American was completely overwhelmed.
At the moment, Calzaghe is just working him over, isn't he?
Oh, completely. Just really giving him a lesson in there. The jab working excellently. There's no head movement.
He's hurt now. Left uppercut all over the place. Doesn't know where he is. And should he be allowed to go on here, Will McIntyre? Surely not.
He's getting really badly beaten in there. What's he going to do? These are all unnecessary punches.
And there's another one of them. 2 more, in fact. He got him with a shot of his own there. Brave boy. But he goes down again, and this time it's waved off. He won't be allowed to continue. No count this time. stopped, and Calzaghe retains the title, and he was never in a moment's bother.
A beaten American foe, but to hit the heights stateside, you've got to clock up a few more air miles. Calzaghe hit New York for the first time last March. And in the city that never sleeps, Joe hardly had a minute's rest.
I've only been here a day. I'm enjoying myself.
Trying to take everything in?
Yeah, just try and take everything in.
It's nice to see you come to New York and see the white flag out there. It's great.
Joe and Enzo went back to their roots to track down any long-lost relatives of the Calzaghe clan.
E l'altra è Costa Azzurra.
La Costa Azzurra.
La Costa Azzurra.
Costa Azzurra.
Okay.
One of them, two of them, three of them.
But the family were soon talking business in a key meeting with the New York boxing writers.
The pieces are there for superstardom if he can fight.
We want to see consistency, and we want to see consistent aggressiveness, and we want to see knockouts.
If he is as talented as he is seemingly nice, then I think, yes, he can be a superstar.
Calzaghe was thrust under the media glare by American TV giants Showtime, and they're getting excited.
We're very, very hopeful to finally have Joe fight here in the States. And when he does, I think that'll be the final jumping off point to his superstardom.
When I come back to New York, it'll be my name, Joe Calzaghe. That'll be in lights.
But when he met one of America's best, Charles Brewer, in the ring, it was back on home ground.
I thought Brewer was going to be the toughest fight of my life. And believe me, I really trained my socks off on that fight because I knew this guy could hit hard.
Blazing eyes of Calzaghe seconds before he starts. This could be fiery and feisty. Calzaghe has to be very careful of Brewer's right hand, and Calzaghe has been vulnerable to that once or twice in the past, notably against Robin Reed. Brewer, a fiery start, did get there with the right hand as well. Look at it, it's kicked off straight away. And Brewer grits his teeth and snarls across the ring at Calzaghe. There's been no love lost between those two. Good left hand from Calzaghe, who says, this man's disrespected me, I'm going to make him pay. Red of heaven rings around the arena. Superb action in this first round, and Calzaghe is getting the better of the argument too. They said it might be a slugfest. To use the American phrase, it was exactly that.
Calzaghe is very confident. He knows he's the best in the world. He wants to go out there and prove it. Calzaghe's throwing a lot of shots. He's looking for the right ones, and I think he needs to be busy with his hands.
Oh, he's hurting with that right hand then. Lovely shot, little right hook, and then going and Brewer open here. Stays upright. He's supposed to have a bad chin. He's taking these from Calzaghe. He's having trouble, Brewer, coping with the speed and the accuracy of Calzaghe, and Calzaghe's very accurate even in a fast-paced fight like this.
Well, he's thrown so many shots, he really is taken Brewer by surprise. But we've got to remember that Brewer still has a good punch himself. He can turn it all around.
It's a bit better from Brewer though in this round. One or two body shots. Whipped in a little left hand as well. I mean, there he is again, and that sent the sweat spraying from Calzaghe's head.
These good left hooks from Calzaghe.
Someone
what
has to give.
What a tremendous fight.
This is a ferociously intense battle between these two, played out amid a raucous atmosphere in this international arena. Great combination from Calzaghe, and a lovely left uppercut too. Brewer still stays there and wants to trade. He's taking these, and in doing that, is he breaking Joe's heart a bit, because Joe's hitting him with so many punches.
Good accuracy, and he just keeps them coming. Brewer doing well to stand up to these shots, but you'd think something has to give.
Lovely right hand, counter shot from Calzaghe. Brewer caught like a sucker almost on the way in with that one. Well, these two both started this fight as if they were trying to get a train back to Paddington in 20 minutes' time. But then good shots going in from Brewer now. Some left hand, most significant success yet for him. He's landed a series of them.
Nice sharp shots from Calzaghe going in.
Look at that again from him too. Rat-a-tat-tat.
Calzaghe just trying to get the angle there, just trying to slip to the side.
There's that left hand again. Almost like a caged lion let free. Calzaghe's on to Brewer on those ropes. Calzaghe's kept up a prodigious work rate throughout. Some of his combinations have been dazzling and eye-catching. He's looking for another of them there as they work in place. Brewer loses his balance, I thought, more than anything. Calzaghe tags him with right and left hand. What a finish to this fight. Just like the start again. Gonna get the bell any second. It's over. Calzaghe feels he's won. There's a mutual embrace, mutual respect, and that's what professional fighters are about. There's Mandy, Joe's wife, and she can only really still be awestruck by the heroic deeds of Joe, who Glenn and I feel has comfortably done enough to retain the belt here tonight.
And still champion Joe Calzaghe.
It's the most significant win yet for Joe Calzaghe. And were you watching America?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. You spurred me on, give me extra 20%. And at last we can do. We can cheer, man. We're a winner. Still champions of the world.
It's a really hard fight, and we both had a lot of respect for each other after the fight, him for me as well, because he knew it would be a tough fight. He fought his best. He trained for that fight for 4 months solid. You know, he really wanted that fight. He really wanted to win. And against a good fighter, you know, I pulled it.
The magnificent setting of Cardiff Castle, scene of many a battle throughout Welsh history. And on a balmy summer's evening last August, a modern-day gladiator appeared for the first time before this beautiful backdrop.
Well, some 6,000 Welsh fans here paying due homage to a man who, after quite a long battle to win people over, has really become a hero in his own nation. This is 11th defence of a 5-year reign tonight. Well, as ever, a fighter, even Nassim Hamed or Chris Eubank made a ring entrance like this.
Well, a tremendous setting.
Well, all the smart money says that Calzaghe will still be king of the castle when this is all over tonight. Calzaghe getting a wonderful reception from his home fans. He doesn't plan on disappointing them here, reaching out for more ring history in the most historic of settings.
It was another great occasion, and despite the old hand trouble, Calzaghe still sailed through against durable challenger Miguel Jimenez, winning almost every minute of every round, proving once again he was in a league of his own.
Still the WBO super middleweight champion of the world, Joe Calzaghe.
Wales has always had a great reputation for producing quality fighters. Their first ring legends in the early 1900s were peerless Jim Driscoll, Freddie Welsh, and Jimmy Wilde, the ghost with the hammer in his hands. Tommy Farr was one of our best heavyweights who took Joe Louis 15 rounds. Howard Winston dominated the featherweight division in the 60s. Johnny Owen, the outstanding bantamweight whose tragic death in 1980 shocked boxing. Colin Jones was one of the world's best welterweights in the 80s. Steve Robinson, the Cinderella man, who won the world featherweight title at 48 hours' notice. Robbie Regan and Barry Jones were also world champions in recent times. And our own Nicky Piper, a world title challenger and a member of Mensa. So where does he believe Joe Calzaghe now ranks?
I think Joe at the moment has to be proved right up there amongst the very best, and we're going back as far as the Jim Driscoll, Jimmy Wilds, the Freddie Welshes, when they really were true world-class fighters. And I think Joe can hold his head up there with the very best of them, and possibly can go on to be rated the best all-time Welsh fighter.
I would never turn around and say I'm the best fighter Wales, but of course not. There've been some great fighters from Wales, and I'm just happy to be mentioned with the likes of Howard Winston, Tommy Farr, other great fighters.
And Welsh sports buzzing. The football teams found success, and star players Craig Bellamy and Gary Speed are also big supporters of Joe.
We want Wales to do well in whatever sport, and thankfully Joe's at the top of his sport, and it's great for Wales.
There's a lot of people now following to get in his footsteps, and there's a lot of good young Welsh boxers coming through, and him and his father Enzo have had a big say in that, and I think he's inspired a lot of people. He's inspired myself as well.
Joe even helped Mark Williams regain world snooker's #1 spot.
He's a fantastic bloke, and I wouldn't like a jab off him, but he's an excellent bloke, and let's hope he can be world champion for many more years.
And Joe often mixes socially with the Welsh rugby team, who want him to perform in their home, the magnificent Millennium Stadium.
We have the best stadium in the world, we have the best box in the world, and as they say in boxing, let's get it on.
That's a dream of mine, to fight in the Millennium Stadium, one of the best stadiums in the world. I'm in Cardiff as well, to fight there would be amazing.
But Newcastle was the stage at Christmas when the football stars made way for the boxing boys. Joe Calzaghe, the ever-popular Ricky Hatton, and the emerging Scottish talent Alex Arthur. The week was fascinating. Once again, Joe chose not to fly.
Good morning, everybody.
Instead, leaving Newport at 7 AM on the Thursday, but
That's a great start. That's a good start. Cancelled training.
Joe kept his cool as he relaxed during this 6-hour trek. Although there were one or two signs the pressure of fight week was taking its toll.
See, we'll let her win.
I can't believe you said that. You did not let me win. You would never let me win anything.
But the lengthy journey couldn't dampen his spirits.
It's going to be a fantastic night. Atmosphere is going to be tremendous, and really looking forward to putting a good show.
Finally, he made it to Newcastle. Time for Calzaghe to come face to face with American challenger Tocker Pudwill. The weigh-in was in the busy Gateshead Metro Centre, and the Americans were half an hour late. Eventually, Pudwill made the weight, but Calzaghe looked in supreme shape and predicted an early finish.
I see me knocking him out in, say, 3 rounds, to be honest.
And the passionate Geordie fight fans turned up in their droves to see if Calzaghe would be true to his word.
I have to make sure that I do a number and straight away take the fight out of him.
Arthur was first up and outclassed Carl Greaves to retain his British super featherweight title. Then Hatton took out American Joe Hutchinson with a cracking body shot to thrill the crowd, before heading straight backstage to wish his friend luck. Everybody was eagerly awaiting the 12th defence of Calzaghe's world super middleweight title.
The Welsh Dragon is snarling again. Joe Calzaghe about to emerge for the 12th defence of a reign that has lasted now for over 5 years. In fact, this is his 6th Christmas as a world champion. A story that all started the night he beat Chris Eubank.
Pretty upright, Pudwill, chin a little bit high. Needs to tuck that down a bit.
Calzaghe taken the distance in his last 2 fights, a thriller with Charles Brewer, and then a frustrating affair at Cardiff Castle against the Puerto Rican Rigo Jimenez. Podwell tries to fight back and goes down, but there's no official knockdown there. There was plenty of leather being thrown. Calzaghe nails him this time with a big straight left hand, and Podwell collapses against the ropes. Is he going to get through round one? Gets up with the count at 8. Dave Parrish takes a close look. Is Calzaghe going to do this in one? He might, you know. Oh, that's a huge shot again with the left hand. Podwell now knows the reality of mixing at this level. I think this is it for him. He looks all spent. Got up at about 9.5.
Here's the first knockdown. Calzaghe really loading up. A little bit inside of the glove with that left hook and then a short little right. Sends Podwell down for the first time. There's the big left hand. This one much better. Nice shorter left hook. Flat on the chin and catches him there. Good shot and down he goes.
Calzaghe at the moment playing with him, toying with him. It's almost as if he's just going to pick the moment when he wants to finish the fight.
Well, he did go 12 with Otka, so if he can get him out as early as this,
Podwell's
it's really good.
Podwell's right eye is shut. Must be one of those punches. Another left hand. We're not long from the finish here, surely. Down he goes again under the latest barrow, and the fight is stopped without a count, all over in round 2. Podwell hopelessly out of his depth, and Joe Calzaghe, in the most facile fashion imaginable, to the delight of his wife, holds on to his world super middleweight title.
Calzaghe, who's been a champion for 5 years, just a matter of time before he's nailing him with those big shots. Calzaghe, when he has his men going, he's a very good finisher, throws a lot of punches, and Podwell was never going to have a defence good enough to keep him off.
No, it was a fighter from the Premiership really against somebody from the Vauxhall Conference. No quarrel at all with what Calzaghe did. He made that different show, and how. Calzaghe is much, much too good for just about everybody in the super middleweight division.
It was a superb showcase in Newcastle. Craig Bellamy was the lucky recipient of the Calzaghe gloves. Mandy got a kiss, the kids got a call.
Yeah, I'm okay, man. Was it good?
But everybody else wanted to know what will happen this year. Will Joe Calzaghe get the fight that will seal his reputation? The dream was a shot at the brilliant American Roy Jones Jr., but Jones has moved up to heavyweight. He could meet German Sven Otka, his great super middleweight rival, but the major 2 fights would be against the elusive American Bernard Hopkins and the unbeaten Dariusz Michalczewski, another long-standing world champion. The British boxing press are demanding a defining test for Calzaghe.
This fight, this last fight in Newcastle, has to be the last fight in this country. He's got to go overseas.
If Joe could just have the kind of fight that he's desperate to have against Hopkins or Michalczewski, whichever, someone, a recognised name in the world.
He needs to go in against the likes of Bernard Hopkins, like Dariusz Michalczewski, to be judged for posterity as one of the greats. And I think if he gets the opportunity, and if that fight can happen against Hopkins or indeed against Michalczewski, I think he'd win it.
Our boys aired their views around the Christmas dinner table, convinced that Calzaghe must move up to light heavyweight.
Prove anything, he's got to step out of the division. Yeah. It has to be somebody like Michalczewski or Roy Jones or whatever. It's the only way he'll prove how good he really is.
There is no outstanding other fighter in the division, and the outstanding fighters in and around, they don't want to know at the moment for Joe. Yeah. It's very difficult, and he can only do what he's doing.
This is the big question. For Joe and for Frank, it's a terribly difficult position to be in. We've got Bernard Hopkins who doesn't want to fight. We've got Jones going to heavyweight. Michalczewski's a very tough opponent. You've sparred with Calzaghe and you've fought Michalczewski. Yeah. How do you compare them?
I actually think, honestly, hand on heart, that Calzaghe has got the style to beat Michalczewski.
The old super middleweight brigade believe he's made it already.
I think he's a great fighter, but he has to fight at
top level all the time. You have to fight at top level, and I think he can.
He's the best in the world. He's the best super middleweight in the world today.
He's a great fighter.
Frank Warren insists Joe's finest years lie ahead.